Hello boys and girls at Penninghame Primary. It's the Reverend Lyons, minister at Penninghame Church. Today, rather than a harvest assembly, I thought I would come out and about and speak to you about what harvest is. Harvest is something that's happening all across our country right now, but it's also something that happens inside the Christian church. Christians up and down the country move into what we call the season of harvest, and I'm going to speak to you briefly about the best way to celebrate that season. In this short episode, let's think about harvest in these three ways. The first way is the gathering in. The second way is the giving thanks. And the third way is the giving out. Now, some people only gather in and they never think to give thanks. Some people gather in and they might well give thanks to God for the fact they have food, but they might not actually ever think about how they might give out. But from the Christian point of view, there is simply no better way to celebrate harvest than to hold these three ways: gathering in, giving thanks, and giving out. You can see from these pictures that all across Wigtonshire, our farmers are busy gathering in. The second element of the celebration of harvest is the giving thanks. And so we gather in church, people of different ages and different backgrounds, and we give thanks to God for the fact that there has been people who have gone onto the land, worked very hard, and that the land has produced the food that we need to eat. And the best person to give thanks for that is the person who is ultimately responsible for the world. And since we believe as Christians it's God's creation, we believe it's right to give thanks for the food that we get from the land. And that moves us to the third and very important final point. There needs to be a giving out. It would be wholly wrong if we just gathered in the food and simply kept it to ourselves, and then when we had enough, we just still kept more back for ourselves. That in the church, when we gather the food in, we send it back out. We give it out, usually in the form of our food bank. And the food bank takes food to boys and girls and men and women of all different backgrounds who, for whatever reason, and there can often be many reasons, simply need help with the buying and the gathering of food. The food bank runs 7 days a week, and even in this town, it is incredibly busy. Now, there are many passages in the Bible that help us understand how we have to treat food and treat people who don't have enough food. But this year, let's think about the third book in the Bible, which is the book of Leviticus. And in Leviticus, we hear the following: "When you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field, or gather the gleanings of your harvest. Leave them for the poor and for the foreigner residing among you. I am the Lord, your God." And so, in a very real way, the Bible shows us that the best celebration of harvest is to gather in, give thanks, and give out. Stay well, boys and girls, and no doubt I'll see you again at one point.